to Ms. Ranja Sengupta, Third World Network, India.
Thank you, co-chairs. I speak here on behalf of Third World Network and the Asia-Pacific Regional Civil Society Engagement Mechanism. The lesson from the MDGs is the sheer failure of MDG 8 that remains significantly responsible for the unfinished business of the MDGs and the larger set of commitments and programs adopted at the UN. Today, to be able to deliver all MOI of the 2030 Agenda for implementing the SDGs, a global partnership led by governments and supported by all of us must be founded on justice, ensure both equality and equity, and be inclusive. A few key points. First, there have been two important breakthroughs in this agenda. The first is the technology facilitation mechanism. But for it to work, member states must not shy away from addressing crucial issues such as intellectual property rights that can be a barrier to technology transfer and innovation. The second breakthrough is a dedicated review forum for financing for development and the MOI of the 2030 Agenda. Monitoring and accountability, as we all know, were the Achilles heel of MDG 8. This review forum must be given enough strength and clarity so it can ensure all MOI are delivered and all partners deliver what they committed to honestly and transparently. Second, the global partnership must begin to act right now, especially in the two major negotiations coming up this year, Paris on climate change and in the WTO Nairobi Ministerial. We call upon our governments, especially those from developed countries, not to create barriers to talks on key issues spanning the three pillars of sustainable development that critically impact our lives, livelihoods, food security, access to services, and the environment. Third, the global partnership has to show the willingness to use MOI instruments, even if not specifically included in the 2030 Agenda, including but not limited to those outlined in the FFD process and other global agreements, if they are necessary for implementing the SDGs. Governments must, for example, address widespread concerns related to free trade agreements and investment treaties, which are threatening policy space worldwide, as policy space is in Target 17.15, or use public stockholding as needed for meeting Goal 2, or regulate the private sector's activities which conflict with SDG goals and targets. Finally, Target 17.14 is about the important principle of policy coherence. Governments must not follow policies, either nationally or globally, that are inconsistent with their commitments here and are underpinned by globally agreed binding human rights, in particular extraterritorial obligations in all spheres of MOI, including trade, finance, technology, and systemic issues. At the end, we as civil society ask all of you to institutionalize civil society space at national, region, and global levels in the implementation and monitoring of this agenda. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sengupta. Now I give the floor to Mr. John Danilovich, International Chamber of Commerce.